Farthest Frontier tips. These are tips for the video game Farthest Frontier. Farthest Frontier is a game like Banished. It's a city settlement game or a city builder where you have to collect resources and you have a town that grows. Avoid building farms as your primary food source at the start of the game. Focus on hunting and foraging, and of course, there's also fishing. And the reason why is because it's very complicated to build farms. It could take many seasons of gameplay to build a farm, and you might need specialized tools. It's better to do hunting, foraging, and fishing because you can get to work right away and you have an immediate supply. With farms, you have to spend many seasons to make the farm. You have to have the tools, you have to plant, you have to reap, and if something goes wrong, you won't have any food. Firewood is necessary to stay warm in the long winter. Get as much firewood as you can early in the game. You're going to have a source of wood, which would be a forest of trees, and you would have to bring it to someone who cuts it into firewood. Build wells near buildings that catch fire easily, such as homes. Obviously, buildings that are made out of wood are going to catch fire easily. Prioritize building walls around storage buildings in case you are raided. Usually what I do is I build a small area that has a few key buildings in it, and then I start building the town around it. I don't build a wall around the entire town. It'll happen later in the game, but in the beginning of the game, the essential buildings have a wall around them. It would be your town center, your storehouse, etc. Use the bell to alert the town when they are in danger, such as being raided, and release them when the danger is over. I don't remember what game it was. Maybe it's Rise of Nations, where you go to the town center and you click the bell, and everybody runs home, and then they can fire arrows from the town center. So if you get raided, you have to go click the bell, and then you have to remember to release them when the danger's over. Place homes near entertainment buildings and decorations. This will increase tax revenue. So if you need more gold, all you got to do is place a pub or a statue near some homes, and you want to build the pubs and the statues in the middle of the group of houses, so that if it has like a radius that it impacts or influences, you'll get the most houses within your radius. If you run out of resources, you will need to import them using a trading post. It's actually it's not difficult to do, but you trade in small quantities, so it's going to be difficult to get specific resources, but it's not difficult, obviously, to set up a trading post. Preserve food to make them last longer using a smokehouse. So food spoils after a certain amount of time. So you want to have a smokehouse to make the food last longer, or you want to sell your food. Build apiaries near farmland so the farmers will travel a shorter distance to collect honey. So apiaries are low maintenance. You just go and pretty much collect the honey. So put the apiary near where the farmers live and work, so they have to walk a short distance to get there. Build extra houses which will keep any immigrants that visit your town. So you're going to have people that want to move into your town. You're going to have people that want to move into your town, so you have to build extra houses. Sell excess food and other resources to traders in your trading post. Obviously, food is renewable, trees are renewable, firewood is renewable, so you can get money by selling that, and you'll constantly have a supply as long as you don't deplete it. Save coastal terrain for fishing. You want to try to put fishing huts along the coast, so don't build other buildings until you've built your fishing huts. You can move blueberry bushes and replant them closer to your town. So if you go to a blueberry bush, click on it, there's an option to move it. You move it close to your town, and then your workers don't have to walk as far in order to collect blueberries. You can buy from one trader and sell those items to another trader for profit. So there's more than one trader, and they sell different goods, and you can buy an item from one trader, sell it to the other trader, and make a profit off of it. Deer spawn in forests and trees. Remove trees to reduce wildlife and plant trees to increase wildlife. So if you have a hunter and you have a little hunting cabin and he needs deer to hunt, you're going to want to make sure you have trees planted near where he is. And obviously, if you cut the trees for firewood without replanting them, you're going to run out of deer. A deer should also supply the deer hide as well as the food, which can be used as like a protective clothing. You can reassign workers to assign them to workplaces closer to their homes. So in the game Banished, people were automatically assigned to a job, and every minute or so they were assigned to a new job, and sometimes they never got anything done. And you would watch somebody and they would wander around and would say, go collect wood, and he would never get to the wood, and he's going to collect food, and he would never get to the food. It was a problem with the AI. With this game, it doesn't work like that. You can reassign them, which can give them jobs in a new workplace that's closer to their home, because eventually you're going to have more people, more homes, more workplaces. You have to manually reassign them to give them a better job. Cows can improve fertility when grazing. So if you have a parcel of land and you want to improve the fertility, you set the cows to graze there. And the reason why is because cows will do more than just graze the land, they'll also fertilize the land. Farm crops can be rotated to increase production. So when you have crops, you can rotate the crops, which means planting a different crop to increase production, because you have different fertility, you have different types of soil, etc. And if you do the same crop too many years in a row, it will deplete resources and the production will go down. You can improve production on farms with sand or clay. So there's different ways to improve production. One of the ways is to use the cows grazing and the compost, the sand and the clay, etc. And obviously producing the right item on the right piece of land. Build your town center such that you have access to the most resources at the start of the game. So you're going to have a quicker game if your town center is near the forest, near the fish, near anything that you have to mine, near berries, etc. And you want to use flat, open land with fertility for farming, and you want to build houses on land that has low fertility. Place buildings near resources they require, and build your resource chain to minimize the distance laborers need to transport materials. So you would have cattle. The cattle would produce meat. The meat would go to the smokehouse, and then from the smokehouse to a storage place. And you want to put them in such a way that the person walks from one building to the next in a line in the shortest distance possible. It takes a long time to build a farm and make it ready to grow food, and it takes a lot of workers to prepare the farm. You can pause the game when raiders come to give yourself a chance to alert your townspeople. When you're building a farm, if it's time to plant crops or harvest crops, you can pause building the farm, and the farmers will go plant their crops and then start building again, for example, when they're no longer planting or harvesting. By default, the smokehouse will collect meat and fish, even if one or both is far away. So if you build a smokehouse, they're going to go collect meat, they're going to go collect fish, even if they have to walk a long distance. But you can disable one or the other. If you build new fields, Farmers prioritize the new field construction and may miss the harvest of existing fields unless construction is paused. So if you build a new field, you have to manually set them to go back and harvest. Food in a trading post does not spoil. You can press F4 to remove foliage when placing roads or buildings. Homes do not need roads. Wagons only travel on roads. Townspeople with hide coats are more likely to travel. You know what? It's not F4, it's just F. Townspeople with hide coats are more likely to survive animal attacks. You can press F to remove foliage when placing roads or bridges. F4 is a different function. Soldiers can clear wildlife such as bears. Unhappy townspeople will drink more at the pubs and they'll have behavior problems. Food spoil after different amounts of time has elapsed. So meat will spoil a different amount of time than grains. And the same with bread and the same with flour. Obviously, something that has water in it is probably going to spoil faster. Crops improve output if planted in ideal locations with ideal soil types and fertility. Build temporary shelters for remote laborers. If you have a laborer that's working far away, he might have trouble with the elements such as the winter. So you might want him to have a temporary shelter so he doesn't have to go all the way back home. And he can work from that shelter while he's doing the work far away. You can change the work area for a building and it will show how many resources are in the selected area. If a building has like a flag that a person spawns at, for example, it was done in other games like maybe Age of Empires and Rise of Nations. You set like a spawn point. You can use it by placing it out in the fog of the map, and people will go scout out that area. You can prioritize building construction or resource collection. So if you have a building that's under construction, you can hit the prioritize button and they'll build it faster. Press F4 to show resources remaining. So you press F4 and it's going to show the quantity of resources remaining on the map. Only upgrade roads that are heavily used to make people travel faster until later in the game when you have more resources. So that's going to be the roads that usually go through the center of the town, the stockpiles to the town center, etc. Place important storehouses next to your town center so townspeople can defend your gold from raiders. With a wall around it, of course. You need to produce, because raiders want your resources, that's what they're raiding. You need to produce bows and arrows for your hunters to hunt deer. You have to manage waste or your homes will become polluted with waste. If your deer hunters run out of bows and arrows, they won't hunt anymore. You have to manage waste. Otherwise, the homes become polluted. You could get a rat infestation. People could become sick. The desirability of the homes go down. People can abandon the homes. So you have to manage the waste properly. Buildings such as pubs, parks, monuments, etc. should be built at the center of a group of homes so they improve the quality of the most residences. So you'll build the pub, a park, monuments, etc. in the middle. And then around it, you build all the houses so that pub can influence as many houses as possible. It's just standard game design. When farming early in the game, grow crops that require the least resources, such as tools. Some crops require more advanced tools, so they're going to be more difficult to grow, so don't grow them. Grow the easier crops. Buildings such as the healer may have a monthly gold maintenance cost. So if you build a healer, you might have to pay 30 gold a month, and you might not be able to afford it, so you might not be able to build it. Okay, those are my tips for Farthest Frontier. You can find more information at cheapbooks.cc in the City Builder section. Look for Farthest Frontier. And today is April 2023. If a long time has passed, I may have added more tips, or other users may have added more tips to the bottom. I am the owner of cheapbooks.com, which is a website for searching books and textbooks. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.